It's a beautiful day today, so it makes so much sense to just do this video and ask a very powerful question. As some people are celebrating Easter today, I greet you with the festive greetings. The thought has just been on my mind, and that thought is to ask you the question: when is enough enough? Now, obviously, this may mean different things to different people at different places and different stages of their life, but I'm thinking about this from a perspective of moving forward. If you're a parent like I am, then sometimes when the children are messing around and they're messing around and they're messing around, and you've told them one or two times, you know what, you should stop, or you told them, behave, or you've told them go to their room, and they keep messing around, you can get to a place where enough is enough. And I want you to take that conceptual idea and bring it into life. When is enough enough? Because I've spent my life meeting people who are not willing to make the leap, not willing to take the jump, who are not willing to make the change until literally, I don't want to say it's too late, because if you've got an opportunity, it's not too late. But the reality is, they don't ever find a time to say enough is enough. They just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. And one day hope that things will change rather than doing something to make things change. And currently, we're in this interesting place in the global landscape where we've got wars and rumors of wars taking place. And we've got people that are decision makers who are leaving everybody on the bridge of suspension to find out when is enough enough for them. But take a step back right now, out of the political sphere, out of the global sphere, and into your personal sphere, and just ask yourself, when do you call enough enough? Because the reality is, for most people, enough is not a concept that they actually provoke. It's not a concept that they actually make happen. It's usually a concept that they wait to happen to them instead of a decision that comes through them. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the fact that people, many people across the globe celebrate Easter today, or this is the bank holiday, Easter Monday in the UK. And, this is a time where if you're someone who is a Christian, you understand Easter as the celebration and commemoration of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The enough is enough. The God's design and God's decision that enough was enough. He's going to send his son. His son's going to live on earth fully man, but embodying all the power of God. And he's going to live a sinless life in order to embrace all of the sins of everyone else's life. And we know the story. Like, for those of us who read the story, we know the story. And I'm not a celebrator of Easter per se, because I just don't see it in the scripture. But again, this is not a political you should or shouldn't celebrate Easter. This is more a discourse on what Easter is about, and more importantly, how we can take the lesson out and leverage it and utilize it in all of the areas of our life. So we see Jesus, who is brutally beaten, brutally battered, and brutally bored, literally, for our transgressions, and then hung on a cross. And after being hung on a cross, he's left there to die. And just to make sure he's dead, they decided to pierce him further. And after him dying, he's placed in a tomb of a rich man. And as the story goes, 3 days go and he is no longer in his tomb. And it's interesting because there's a whole bunch of religions out there who their prophets, their leaders, their masters, their deities are in their tombs. But Jesus is no longer in the tomb because he has risen. He's risen, and he shows up days after and explains that in the sight of God, enough was enough. Enough was enough, so much so that after Moses, after Solomon, after you name the person, the Messiah decided to come. Now, the reason this is so important for me is because in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus said something very profound to his disciples. The disciples said to him, Lord, there's these times where you disappear early in the morning and then you come back later on and things just change. Like, you pray for people and they become healed. You take 5 pieces of fish and 2 loaves and you turn them into enough for everybody to eat. You transform situations from that time that we perceive to be some form of hibernation. So they ask him, like, what are you doing? Like, you're praying. Like, how do you pray? And he says to them in Matthew chapter 6, he says, this is how you pray. He said, when you pray, don't be like the heathen. Don't be like those people who are going to think they're going to be heard because they keep saying the same word. Don't be like those people who keep babbling and think because of their babbling, they will be rewarded. He said, listen, their reward is the fact that they're seen in front of people, because that's who they do it for. They do it for the people they're getting seen in front of. Then he says, but when you pray, this is him talking to his inner circle now. He says, when you pray, he says, this is what you should say. He said, pray like this. He says, our Father. Okay, so that's a communal father. That's not an individual father. It's not my God is so unique to me that there's no philosophy. That's communal for everybody, right? So that's a concept. He says, our Father who lives in heaven. And he's clearly defining the deity of God. The deity of God is not suspended in earth. It's who lives in heaven. He says, holy is your name. That means you are set apart. You're not like anyone else, right? He says something so profound, and this is why I want to bring this to a kind of semi-crescendo for this video. He says, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And unfortunately, we've got to a place where in many places and spaces, people who profess to be followers of Christ have stopped living their actual natural lives. They've created their whole life about the afterlife, their whole life about when they get to heaven, their whole life about the spiritual elements when the prayer declares that his kingdom should come, his will should be done on earth as it is in heaven. So sometimes we have to ask ourselves the question, and that question is, when is enough enough? God got to a place where he said enough is enough and decided to send his son, the Messiah, the Christ, the one who died for you and I. God got to that place. And he didn't wait until there was fullness of calamity. He didn't wait until the world is full of tragedy. And I know some of you might be saying, oh, but what about Noah? He did it with Noah. With Noah, it was full of calamity. It was all tragedy. But even with Noah, we had Noah and his family. We still had a remnant of people that were willing to say enough is enough. God, you gave me the command. I'll play out the command, and I'll let you, most importantly, shut the door. So I want to ask you this question today, and that question will hopefully for the rest of your future help you to get paid. And I'm not just talking about paid in terms of money. I'm talking about paid in terms of resonance, paid in terms of peace, paid in terms of other forms of prosperity that money cannot buy. The kind of prosperity that gives you peace in your mind. And the question is, when is enough going to be enough for you? When are you going to look at things in your life and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm done with living in the cycle of similarity. I'm done with living the mundane mediocrity. I'm done with doing the same old, lame old and expecting one day for it to change into gold. Because there's only so much you can do until what you do shows up for you. And if we keep doing the same thing and keep getting the same results, I don't want to be the person to tell you, but I'm glad if I have to be the person to tell you that there's something else you have to do. You have to pick up a new book. You have to start working on a new look. You have to decide that you're no longer going to be subverted by the lies from a crook. You got to say to yourself, you know what? If it's going to be, as they often say, it's up to me. And sometimes it doesn't start with a grand plan of what you desire to have. Sometimes it doesn't start with the grand scheme of this is who I'm going to have on my team. Sometimes it literally just starts with a simple art of you saying enough is enough. How are you going to be in a position to take care of your aging parents? How are you going to be in a position to meet the needs for those who come in the next generation, whether it be your children or your grandchildren? How are you going to be able to take care of your spouse and the other people who are members in your house if you haven't got to a place in your life where you've said enough is enough? Enough is enough. I want to be a contributor to my community. I don't just want to be a taker. I want to sign up and become a maker. I want to be someone who can add value in a significant fashion so that when people come around me, they desire to stay around me. I was contemplating today about some of the communities I've had the privilege, pleasure, and even honor to be a part of over the years. 2016 specific property community, 2021 a specific coaching community, 2024, another high level coaching community. And all of these groups with high level entrepreneurs, high level people with a desire, people who are destined to become more, to have more, because they're willing to do more. And as I was thinking about these different communities, I was thinking to myself, like, Samuel, like, how comes none of those communities were the community for you? Like the lifelong signed up, sign me up, I'm never changing. And I realized that the reason why is because I understand I'm called to a community. I'm called to help people who are ready to say enough is enough. Samuel, I'm willing to face it even if it's tough. And I want to be, hopefully, one, if not the friend that you have on this journey. I want to be someone who you can rely on to show up for you and show you that there is more. There's more in store. And the reason why you wake up in the morning when you go to work or when you go to do your business and your dealings and you feel within yourself that no, there's more, there's more. Like, I know I'm better than this. I know I can produce better results than this. I know that my life can turn around. I'm here to tell you that you're not wrong. I'm here to tell you you're not wrong. Because there was a time in 2014, 2015, I'd wake up and I'd go to my job as a secondary and A-level math teacher, 2015 as a secondary A-level math teacher and also as a teacher trainer. And I'd say to myself, there must be more to life than this. The other day I was on a live talking about the 5 things we need to focus on in order to allow our freedom to get fixed and not to fence it out. And as I was talking about this stuff on the live, one of the young ladies who jumped on the live, she said, Samuel, you hit the nail on the head. She said she's tired. And as I listened to her, as I read her comment, as I brought, it wasn't her I brought up on stage. I think it was the next day I brought someone else on stage who shared a very similar sentiment, someone who's working as a teacher in a school. But as this lady on the day before was sharing about how she's tired, and I read her comment, I just thought to myself, like, how many other people are like this? How many other people are feeling this? How many other people want the change but think it feels so strange they don't know what to do? And this really touched me. It touched me because I know there's more. It touched me because I've been there before. It touched me because I said to myself, if she had the systems, the settings, and the structures, she'd be able to produce success for sure. So I want to invite you. If you are listening to this message today and you're looking for a new way, a new path, a redemption from where you've been, if you are deciding that you're no longer living in the cycle of similarity, you're fed up with the mundane mediocrity, and it's time for you to make your future your priority, I want to invite you to connect with me. Now, I don't mind how you connect with me. You know, there's a number of platforms on the internet that I'm on with direct messaging services. Feel free to direct me. Direct message me, direct me. Well, be direct with me, but feel free to direct message me, right? And if there's something in the description of this video, whether it be free or paid, that you think will help you to move further fast in your future, I want to invite you to take advantage of it. I'm going to continue to make these daily videos because the feedback I've got is that these videos are helpful to people. And if you find this video helpful, then leave a comment below so you can encourage me too. I don't just want to be the person encouraging you. And the reason why is because there's one thing for me to come online with this as a contribution, but there's another thing for us to take it a step further and have what we call collaboration. So I'm inviting you in this video to collaborate with me as a sign that Christ has come, as a sign that the Messiah has laid his feet on this earth, died on the cross for every single one of us. And now we have the opportunity to say, just like God said, enough is enough. It's time to make a change. I want to invite you to a new life of making a change, and I'd love to be a part of that journey with you. So with that being said, this is Samuel Akinwin. I'm signing out. I know it's a slightly different message today, but I just felt super heartfelt, and I felt like I had to come direct and really share with you how I feel about things in order to help you move further faster in your future. So with that being said, good day, God bless, and always remember that it's small keys like these that open up big doors, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's go.